Have you ever wondered what courage really means? Not the kind that roars, but the kind that trembles and still moves forward. That's exactly the kind of courage Peter Rabbit and his cousin Benjamin Bunny discovered one chilly morning, when a single, old, muddy boot changed everything. It began on a golden morning in the heart of the forest. Dewdrops still clung to the blades of grass, glistening like little pearls, and the air smelled of damp earth and adventure. Peter Rabbit, always the curious one, was hopping along the edge of Mr. McGregor's garden, his whiskers twitching with mischief. Beside him, Benjamin Bunny followed, a little slower and a lot more cautious. They'd promised their mothers they'd stay out of trouble, but Peter's idea of staying out of trouble was very different from most rabbits. "Come on, Benjamin," Peter urged, his blue coat brushing against the tall grass. "It's just one look inside the garden. We won't touch anything." Benjamin sighed, tugging nervously at his old brown hat. "That's what you said last time, Peter. And we ended up hiding in a watering can for an hour." Peter grinned. "And we survived, didn't we?" They crept through the fence, hearts pounding, when suddenly Benjamin's paw caught on something. He looked down, and there it was. A single, oversized boot, lying half buried in the mud. It looked old, weathered, and slightly torn at the edge. But there was something strange about it. It wasn't just an old boot. From inside came a faint sound, a whimper. Benjamin froze. "Did you hear that?" Peter crouched low, eyes wide. "It's coming from the boot." They approached carefully, and when Peter nudged it open, a pair of frightened eyes blinked back at them. Inside, wrapped in a scrap of cloth, was a tiny field mouse, shivering and weak. She looked up at them and whispered, "Please, help me." The two cousins exchanged a glance. This wasn't just mischief anymore. This was something real. The mouse's name was Millie. She told them she'd lost her home when the big storm hit the night before. Her nest near the stream had been swept away, and she'd found this boot floating nearby, a small shelter in a very big world. But now, the water was rising again, and Millie had nowhere to go. Peter's brave heart stirred. "Don't worry, we'll help you. Right, Benjamin?" Benjamin hesitated. He wasn't brave like Peter, but when he saw the tiny mouse trembling, he nodded. "Of course, we'll get you to safety." And so began their unexpected journey. The forest that day felt different. The wind howled between the trees, carrying the scent of rain. Peter led the way, carrying the boot with Millie tucked safely inside, while Benjamin scouted ahead. But soon, trouble came in the form of Tommy Brock, the badger who had a nose for mischief and a stomach for rabbits. They heard his heavy steps before they saw him. "Rabbits!" Tommy growled from behind the trees. Peter's fur bristled. "Run!" he hissed. Through the thick ferns and tangled roots they dashed, the boot bouncing in Peter's paws. Benjamin tripped once, nearly losing his balance, but Millie's frightened squeak pushed him forward. The rain began to pour, turning the ground to slippery mud. Their tiny hearts raced, their breath coming in gasps, but still they ran. Finally, they found refuge beneath an old fallen log. Soaked and shivering, they listened as Tommy Brock's footsteps faded into the distance. Millie peeked from the boot and whispered, "Thank you, you saved me." Peter smiled, though his body ached. "We're not done yet. We need to get you home." When the storm cleared by evening, the world looked brand new. The air was crisp, and the forest sparkled with drops of silver. Peter and Benjamin carried the boot down to the edge of the stream where Millie had lost her home. Together, they rebuilt a small nest, filling it with moss, twigs, and bits of dry grass. Millie's eyes filled with tears as she looked at what they'd made for her. "I don't know how to thank you," she said softly. Benjamin smiled shyly. "Friends don't need thanks." That night, as the stars shimmered above, the three of them sat by the little stream. The boot, once a symbol of fear and loss, now stood proudly beside Millie's new home, a reminder that even in the smallest hearts, courage and kindness could bloom. Days passed, and the forest soon returned to its peaceful rhythm. But one morning, when Peter and Benjamin came by to visit, they found the boot gone. In its place lay a small acorn necklace and a note. Asterisk for my heroes. I'll never forget you. Asterisk. Peter held the note close. "Do you think we'll ever see her again?" he asked. Benjamin smiled. watching the sunlight dance across the water. Maybe not, but sometimes helping someone once is enough to change their whole life. And in that quiet moment, they realize the truth. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about doing what's right, even when you are afraid. The forest whispered softly around them, the wind carrying away their laughter, and deep inside the heart of that old land, the tale of Peter Rabbit and Benjamin's adventure with a boot became a story passed down through generations. A story not just about adventure, but about friendship, compassion, and the quiet bravery that lives in us all. Would you have done the same if you were in Peter's paws that day? That's the question the forest still asks every time the wind rustles through the grass.